Hey, welcome to the Walk Before You Hunt New Zealand Media Centre. We've been a little bit under the weather here for the last few days, so we're just holed up at home. So I thought it'd be good to get on with some maintenance. I think maintenance has let me down a few times throughout my life, but certainly throughout this whole hunting process, some things have let me down. So it's a good opportunity to get on top of it while we've got 7 days at home. What would be good right now is if you could smash that like button. I always feel a little bit grubby asking for the likes and subscribes and everything like that. But man, we're getting a few subscribers now. That's pretty cool. I'm very happy for that. I'm very grateful for people subscribing to the channel. But hit that like button as well. And what that does is it shows YouTube that we're worth promoting. And then there's some other lucky punters out there can see me waffle on about some given topic for the weekend, probably have it turn bad for me, and then we'll have a great big laugh about it. Like the sleeping bag. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to crack on with these boots. Talking boot maintenance. And there's some other factors to boot maintenance, but we'll go through those. And another one, what we're doing today is actually doing a bit of a repair job, or probably some protection, adding prolonging the life of these boots, adding a bit of protection to them. But these boots here are the most comfortable piece of footwear I've ever owned, and they replaced what was previously the most comfortable piece of footwear I ever owned. I have them here. I've struggled to get rid of these guys. These were a pair of tramping boots that I picked up on a sale for a big tramp that I did a couple of years ago. I had convinced myself I was going to do that in work boots, like an idiot. I am glad I did not. So these guys saw a fair few Ks, became pretty much my daily wearers, to be honest. I wore them to work where I was supposed to be wearing steel caps as well, just because they were so comfortable. So for me to then turn up at the shop and find these guys and put them on, these blow the doors off those for comfort, was a little bit of a shock. I didn't expect to find another pair of footwear that felt so comfortable. And these ones have really exceeded probably what those ones have, and I've asked more of them than they were designed for. These are a reasonably high-end tramping boot in the range of $400 to $500, I think, from memory. And awesome on trail, but they're probably starting to show just a few weaknesses off trails, certainly when you get into that loose rocky stuff as well. So the one thing they don't offer is the rubberized rand around the outside of the boots. So today, this will be the second time I've actually done it. I've got some stuff that I'm gonna put on them. I did it a couple of months back, and it worked out pretty well. It did start to wear off, so what I've done is I've got in there and peeled it off where it did start to come off, given the surface a little bit of a prep up, and then hopefully I'm going to go a little more heavy-handed with this stuff here today, and that's going to give them a bit more protection. Last time I went quite light because it feels like a high-risk game. Just banging stuff on a $400 pair of boots which aren't actually broken yet. But the key is preventative maintenance. I want these things to last long enough for me to be able to afford a new pair of boots, and then retire these ones to just a bit of tramping and some more low-key stuff, and get some harder boots for some of the country that we're climbing around in. So what I'm using today is, well, this is Sally's Armour Flex, but all I did was look for something relatively robust sort of sealant that was almost rubberized, rather than like something that goes off hard, you know. So, and this one just so happened to be black, which I feel it just comes out real tidy, I suppose. Like, it took one time to do it to learn that actually that looks all right, because it could have looked rubbish too. So, yeah. And then had a caulking gun lying around. I don't know. Nick one of those from somewhere if you need one. So yeah, and then I pretty much just pasted on and then go to work with a licked finger, to be honest. It's nothing too scientific. But what I did notice last time was that I didn't really put a lot on. So I feel like I might put, like that's probably way more than I put on last time. And just, yeah, man, this is like painting with fingers, right? This is, let's not get too carried away on technique. It's just getting it in there. And then, what I did was I masked these up earlier. It's actually really hard to mask on waxed leather boots. So I feel like you have to sort of get that surface area thing happening with these. But yeah, you want to mask it up and make it look at least tidy. The last time through, this came out really well. One thing I did notice with this stuff is that it doesn't hold any air bubbles. I don't know how that works, but it's like you don't get air entrained in it, so it does seem to do a slightly tidier job. Because I might have had a real rough crack with some other coloured stuff before this. That didn't look so good, and the black managed to make that go away. So, yeah. So just duplicating the rubberized rand that the more expensive hunting boots have, just as a bit of a level of protection on the sides, because they have wide feet. You can probably see here, like this section here actually bows out just as wide as the heel, or whatever the floor of the shoe's called again. And that means that that's just like prone to stuff cutting, and then when you're like siding along hills and things like that, they sort of dig in and they are getting a little bit hacked up, so it's just good to get this on here. Now with this stuff I just found, I just laid it on last time. It actually took a couple of days to really dry out, but in a couple of hours or so it's actually workable and you can start to smooth it off a little bit better. So I figure for now it's just get the stuff on and get on with it, right? It does it does look real rough right now, but yeah, it will smooth up. It was one of the fears the first time round, was that I was making a ham of it and it was only going to get worse. But it never always gets worse. Yeah, so just getting it into that join again between the sole. I think sole was the word I was looking for before. And then just bending it into that top section where it's masked off. So, I mean, yeah, you don't have to do this to your boots. You can just buy new boots, I suppose, but the boots I'm currently looking at, one, aren't in the country, and that's just a size issue. So, there's not many people carry a lot in US size 14 to 15, or UK 13 to 14, which I need, and especially in a more wider sort of style. So at the moment it's just a waiting game on boots coming back into stock, and hopefully that'll be soon, and then I'll be then I'll be parting with about the best part of $800 for a new pair of boots. And that'll be my hunting boots, and hopefully I get a good couple of years use like I have out of these. These things done at least 1,000 k's, I suppose. So I would like to get a little bit sentimental about boots, I suppose. I'd like them to hang around a little bit longer. So yeah, for now that's all there is to see. Whole fire will be more shortly. So I'll give them another 10 or so minutes. But they are starting to shine up a little bit better and smoothing out. So one thing that was pretty surprising, and hopefully happens again this time, was at the moment they're obviously very like bright and shiny black, but they dull down and match the black of the boots pretty well. So yeah, give it a little bit more time and come back and do the same. Rightio. So now time to remove the masking tape. I've already done one to make sure everything was going to be all right, and then we mint, and then started doing the other one, and it just started peeling straight away. So I've had to scrap that one, undo all of it, and then basically redo it to get it back to the point where I can take the masking tape off. So shit happens. That's not really how I was taking it at the time. But anyway, so yeah, I've smoothed it out as best I can. Just sort of keep working that process through, and just until it looks nice and smooth. Flippity shucks, I hope this goes well. Okay, that is going much better. Maybe I'd left that one just a little bit too long. So potentially unmasking it while it's still fairly soft and wet is probably a little bit better. That probably makes sense anyway. Yeah, so that one's done, coming pretty good. It's difficult to mask up, like I was saying, because it's the wax leather, right? But that is going good. I would not recommend doing this in your favourite Ahori Buzz t-shirt either. Like, it's a fairly high risk game. I would normally have got plenty on myself by now, but somehow haven't. But I'll probably go change my t-shirt shortly. So yeah, that's on there now. Here is the first boot. So as you can see, it's sort of like, it's sort of the right shape. But if you come in, I've just sort of worked a little bit around the edges because it is heavier. There is quite a hard edge there, so I've just sort of laid a little nice thin, sort of try to blend it into the sole a bit. Hopefully it seals up as well. What I have found with this is it has no effect on the wearing of the boot at all. It doesn't make the bottom tight or anything like that. It's fairly elastic, so yeah, hopefully I get a few more Ks out of my boots and keep them going until I can get my new ones. Thanks for watching. Hang around for the good bits at the end. There'll be plenty in this one, I imagine. I've done all the follow and stuff. Like and subscribe. Find us on Instagram. Listen to the podcast on Spotify. Personally, that's my favourite bit. I love the podcast. And yeah, and we'll be out hunting soon and get some sweet footage. Be able to see these things in action. I don't believe this works. It's amazing how well this works. This is like one of those hilariously rough things that I do that somehow works out. Like, they don't always work out. Well, you know they don't work out. yeah. Sometimes they work out. yeah. And it was almost a shock when it did. So now I'm just going to rip the masking tape off. Yeah, which I mean, there's no real art to that, except I suppose you want to like try and not get to a direction where you're pulling at the stuff, like you want to tear away from it.